Hey, beautiful souls, it's Cindy. Welcome to Soulful Saturdays with Saylor. I want to start today with a question. When was the last time you truly stopped and said, thank you? Not out of habit, not because it was polite, because you felt it. Think about that for a second. Life moves fast. We wake up with a to do list already forming in our heads. We rush to get ready, scroll through the phones, check emails, make breakfast, head out the door, and before you know it, the day's halfway over. We're moving, reacting, doing, but not always feeling. And in all that motion, gratitude, the simplest, most grounding practice we have, often gets lost. You know, you know what I mean. Those mornings when you spill your coffee, you think, here we go again. Or the days when traffic is bumper to bumper and you just want to disappear into a quiet room somewhere. Or maybe it's the constant noise, the responsibilities, the expectations that keep you from slowing down long enough to notice the goodness that's already here. Here's the truth I've learned. Gratitude doesn't only live in the big moments, the wins, the milestones, the celebrations. It lives in the tiny ones. It lives in the first sip of coffee, in a warm blanket on a chilly morning, in the smile from a stranger who holds the door. It's the quiet breath you take before answering a text. These are the sacred pauses we so often rush past, and yet they hold so much power. So today, let's take a deep breath together. Go ahead. Inhale and exhale, and let's bring gratitude off the meditation mat and into real life, into the car, the kitchen, the office, the grocery store line. Because when we start to see the beauty in the ordinary, something incredible happens. Life starts to feel softer, lighter, and more alive. That's what we're diving into today. Everyday thankfulness. How to make gratitude your daily rhythm, even when life gets messy. And we know it will get messy. So settle in, take another deep breath, and let's begin this journey together. You know, I think most of us want to be grateful. We really do. We read the quotes, we see the posts, and we even have those cute little journals sitting by our nightstands. And let's be honest, when life comes rushing at us, when things don't go our way, gratitude feels like the last thing on our minds because life is real. It's bills, it's long work days, it's a house that won't clean itself, a phone that won't stop buzzing, a heart that's trying to juggle everything and still show up with a smile. And somewhere between the chaos and the checklist, we forget to pause. We tell ourselves, I'll slow down later. I'll be thankful when things settle. But the truth is, life doesn't always settle. It just shifts. And if we keep waiting for peace before we feel gratitude, we'll be waiting our whole lives. Gratitude isn't something we feel when life is perfect. It's something we practice right in the middle of the mess. It's easy to say thank you when everything's going well. The real power, it's saying thank you anyway. Thank you, even when the plan falls apart. Thank you, even when the people around you don't see your effort. Thank you, even when you're tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain. Because gratitude isn't denial, it's redirection. It doesn't mean pretending everything's okay. It means choosing to look for what's okay right now in this moment. I remember a time when I was juggling too many things. Hmm, Go figure. Projects, family, deadlines, and that constant inner pressure to keep it all together. I was exhausted, running on fumes. And one morning, I just broke down in tears over something as small as spilled coffee. It wasn't really about the coffee. Nope. It was about how disconnected I felt from myself. And right there in that messy emotional moment, I whispered, "Thank you. Thank you for this reminder that I'm human. Thank you for showing me where I've been running on empty. Thank you for giving me a chance to start over right now." And in that pause, something shifted. The world didn't magically fix itself, but my energy did. Gratitude grounded me. It reminded me that peace doesn't come from perfection, it comes from presence. So if you're listening today and you're feeling stretched thin, maybe you're in a season where it's hard to find anything to be grateful for. Please know this: you're not failing, you're human. Start small, start with one breath, start with one thank you, even if it feels forced at first. Because every time you stop and notice something good, no matter how small, you're retraining your mind and softening your heart. That's where gratitude begins, not in the highlight moments, but in the ordinary ones that ask us to see differently. You know, huh, after we get honest about how hard it can be to feel grateful when life gets messy, here's the good news: gratitude doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need the perfect morning routine, a fancy journal, or 30 minutes of silence to practice it. Gratitude isn't another thing on your list. It's a way of being in the world. It's a rhythm, heartbeat, a quiet awareness that says, I see the good right here. And if we started looking at gratitude as something that walks beside us through the day, instead of something we try to fit in before bed, think about it. You wake up with the first light that touches your face. Ah, that's gratitude. Your coffee smells amazing. That's gratitude. Your child calls just to say hello. That's gratitude. Even the deep exhale when you finally sit down after a long day, yes, that too is gratitude. It's not the big, flashy moments that shift your life. It's the tiny ones, repeated often, that rewires your perspective. When we treat gratitude like a companion, not a task, it starts to flow naturally. You begin to catch yourself noticing the small blessings: the way the sunlight hits your window, the warmth of your shower, the taste of dinner when you slow down enough to actually taste it. And over time, that noticing becomes second nature. Gratitude stops being something we chase and becomes something we are. Here's what I've learned. Gratitude grows when we stop trying to get it right and start letting it to be part of the moment. You practice it right where you are, no matter what's happening. You can be grateful in your car. Maybe instead of focusing on the red lights, you take a breath and say, thank you for the pause. You can be grateful when you're cooking dinner. Thank you for this food, for this home, for this chance to nourish myself. You can even be grateful for the challenges, not because they're easy, but because they're shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. And when you live like that, when gratitude becomes the lens you see through, it changes how life feels. The noise quiets, the rush slows, and you start to see that every ordinary moment holds something sacred. So here's the new perspective. I want to invite you into today. Don't wait for life to be perfect to feel gratitude. Let gratitude be the reason life starts to feel a little more perfect, just as it is. You know, I think the most beautiful thing about gratitude is that it's always available. It doesn't ask for perfection, it just asks for presence. Let me share a story with you. A few moments ago, actually, a few months ago, I was having one of those mornings. You know, the kind I woke up already behind. I spilled my coffee on my notes. The emails kept stacking up, and I could feel that familiar tension in my chest that says, you'll never catch up. So I did what I tell others to do and often forget myself. I stopped just for a moment and I took a breath. I looked around and thought, okay, what can I be thankful right now? And honestly, the first thing that came to mind was the smell of coffee. Even though it had spilled and it smelled amazing. Then the sunlight hitting the table, soft and golden. And right there in the middle of a mess, I felt something shift. That moment didn't change the day, but it changed me in the day. Gratitude didn't erase the chaos. It reminded me I wasn't powerless in it. Sometimes we wait for life to calm down before we let ourselves feel thankful. Gratitude isn't found in the calm, it creates it. It's like turning the volume down on everything that's loud and tuning back into what's real. And when we start practicing this, really living it, gratitude becomes like a thread weaving through everything. It shows up in conversations, in challenges, in moments that used to frustrate us. I remember another time I was stuck in traffic again. Instead of groaning, I rolled down the window and I noticed the trees moving in the breeze, the sky doing its quiet dance of clouds. And I thought, I'm exactly where I meant to be, even here. And you know what? That moment became sacred, not because of what was happening, because, but because of how I chose to see it. Gratitude is really just a practice in noticing. It takes us to look closer, to say, this is enough right now. So I want to invite you to think for a moment, where can gratitude meet you today? Maybe it's in the laughter of your kids. Maybe it's in a quiet morning where you finally have a minute to breathe. Maybe It's a lesson that you didn't want but needed. Maybe it's simply in the fact that you're here, listening, learning, opening your heart. Everyday thankfulness is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about being awake to the beauty that's already present. And here's the magic. When we live this way, life begins to respond differently. We start attracting more peace, more joy, more connection. We begin to realize that the little things we once brushed off, the coffee, the sky, the smile, they're actually the big things. It's not about chasing gratitude. It's about slowing down enough to let you find it. So as you listen right now, maybe take a deep breath and whisper a few thank yous in your heart. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this body that carries me through the day. Thank you for another chance to begin again. That's it. That's the practice. That's the power. And the more you do it, the more natural it feels until gratitude stops being a moment and starts being your way of life. So, after all the stories, all the pauses, all the moments of noticing, what changes? What really shifts when we make gratitude a rhythm instead of a rare occasion? First, your perspective shifts. Life doesn't suddenly become perfect. The traffic is still there. The deadlines still loom. The challenges haven't disappeared. Your relationship to those moments changes. You no longer are battling them. You're noticing the small lights in the dark spaces, the little gifts hidden in the ordinary. Second, your energy changes. You start to pause and see what's good, even in tough moments. You're telling yourself, your body, and your mind, I see the positive. I choose presence. And that choice softens stress, eases tension, and opens space for more joy to flow naturally. Third, your connection deepens. When we live in this mindset, forgive me, when you live in this mindset, you notice people more. You appreciate them more. You express gratitude, and that ripple of appreciation always comes back. Suddenly, you're more present, more patient, more loving, and the world around you feels warmer. And maybe the most important shift is within your heart. You stop searching for happiness in external events because you realize joy is nothing other than somewhere else. It's here. It's in the very moments that you've been overlooking. Gratitude becomes a lens, and life starts to look different, softer, brighter, more alive. And the truth? Gratitude doesn't fix life, it fixes your heart. It tunes you into the everyday miracles that are already happening, even when the chaos seems loud. And when you start noticing, really noticing, you can't help but feel lighter, more centered, more grounded in the now. The mundane becomes meaningful. Yeah, it does. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. Yes, it does. And that, my friends, is the power of practicing everyday thankfulness. It's not a practice that ends with meditation or journaling. It's a practice that transforms your day, your energy, your life, moment by moment, breath by breath. So, my beautiful souls, as we wrap up today's conversation, here's a gentle reminder. Gratitude isn't something you chase, it's something you live. It's in your breath, your heartbeat, your morning coffee, and yes, even the traffic jams. So today I invite you to pause, take a breath, and whisper a few thank yous in your heart. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for the little things that you might usually overlook. Thank you for today. Let your heart notice. Let your mind quiet and let your spirit smile. Because when you carry gratitude into your day, even in the small, ordinary moments, life begins to feel softer, brighter, and more alive. Remember our affirmation for today. I find joy in the little things that make life beautiful. Keep it close, practice it, live it, and watch how your world starts to shift, one thankful moment at a time. And until next time, keep your heart open, your eyes noticing, and your spirit glowing. You are enough. You are loved. And yes, life is full of little miracles waiting for you to see them. You matter always. And until we meet again, keep your heart open, your breath steady, and your eyes on the everyday miracles. I'm Saylor, and this has been your Soulful Saturday. Treat yourself with kindness and stay gloriously grateful. This beautifully completes your full Soulful Saturday with Saylor episode, Everyday Thankfulness. Title theme, Practicing Gratitude in Daily Life.